Japan. Feudal era. Somewhere in the mountains. A lord has just been found dead in his locked chamber. No windows broken. No guards disturbed. No footprints. Just a single black thread caught on the door frame. This is how they worked. Not with armies. Not with declarations of war. With silence. With patience. With a system so sophisticated it has never been fully replicated. Today, you're going to live every rank of that system. From a terrified child dragged out of bed at midnight, to a ghost that empires could not kill.
Before we rank up, let's clear something up that Hollywood got completely wrong. Ninja were not just assassins. The word shinobi means to endure or to steal away. They were intelligence operatives. Spies. Infiltrators. Saboteurs. And yes, sometimes, killers. The two most powerful ninja clans operated from Iga and Koka provinces, remote mountain regions where the geography itself created natural fortresses. These clans developed a 10-level rank system that took a lifetime to climb. Most people never made it past level 3. Rank 1. Shonin. The child initiate. You are 8 years old. You didn't volunteer. Children of ninja families were identified by their clan at birth and training began before they could fully understand what they were being trained for. The first year was not weapons training. It was conditioning. Your body had to become a tool before it was given tools. You ran barefoot in winter. You held your breath underwater in cold rivers. You slept on wooden floors without blankets. Not to be cruel, but to teach your body that discomfort was temporary, that the mind could override the body's complaints. The failure rate was high. Children who could not endure were not punished. They were simply sent home. The clan needed no one who had to be forced. Rank 2. Genin. The field operative. You're 14 now. You've survived. And now, the real training begins. Genin were the boots on the ground, the ones who actually carried out missions. But before any mission, you had to master the 18 skills of the ninja, a curriculum so demanding it took years just to become competent in the basics. Taijutsu, unarmed combat. Not to look impressive, but to survive when every other option failed. Kenjutsu, swordsmanship. But ninja rarely used the katana. Too long. Too loud. Too obvious. Shuriken jutsu, throwing blades, not the spinning stars you've seen in movies. Small, flat, designed to distract and create distance, not to kill. Kensojutsu, disguise and acting. The ability to become a completely different person was more valuable than any weapon. Shinobi, the art of entering. Moving through space without leaving a trace. At this level, you were trusted with simple missions, surveillance, message delivery, mapping enemy territory. You were watched constantly. Every mission was a test. Rank 3. Chunin. The middle rank. You've completed at least 5 successful missions. You're in your early 20s. And for the first time, someone is reporting to you. Chunin were the middle managers of the ninja world, experienced enough to lead small teams, but still operational enough to go on missions themselves. At this rank, you began to specialize. Some Chunin became explosives experts, using black powder, fire arrows, and smoke to create chaos in enemy formations. Some became poison specialists, developing compounds from mountain plants that could mimic illness, cause sleep, or stop a heart with no trace. Some became information brokers, masters at extracting intelligence without the target realizing they were being questioned. But with specialization came a new kind of danger. You knew too much. And in this world, people who knew too much were liabilities, even to their own clans. Rank 4. Jonin Candidate. The elite operative. This is where most ninja careers peaked. Very few ever went higher. At this rank, you were trusted with high-value missions, infiltrating enemy castles, extracting prisoners, eliminating specific targets. The legendary Night Castle raid was the ultimate test for Jonin candidates. You had to enter a fortified castle, retrieve an item or piece of information, and exit, without leaving any evidence you were ever there. If you were caught, the clan would deny your existence. There was no rescue mission. There was no negotiation. You were simply a person who didn't officially exist. And yet, Jonin candidates volunteered for these missions. Because at this level, the mission was no longer about fear or money. It was about identity. This was simply who you were.
Rank 5. Jonin. Field Commander. You now command a cell of operatives. You plan the missions. You assign the roles. You decide who goes in and who stays back. Historical records describe Jonin as walking strategy. They had to anticipate 5 moves ahead of every decision. If a mission went wrong, it was your failure. Even if you weren't there. But if it succeeded, the lord who hired your clan got the credit. Your name appeared nowhere. At Jonin level, you also began managing the clan's most dangerous asset, its network of informants. Merchants. Servants. Temple priests. Traveling performers, all of them feeding information back to the clan. The network was more powerful than any army. And you were one of the people keeping it alive. Rank 6. Tonomono. The Master Specialist. At this rank, you stop being a generalist. You become the best in the clan at one specific thing. The Master of Hensojutsu, disguise, could spend 3 years embedded in an enemy lord's household as a servant before ever acting. 3 years. Waking every morning pretending to be someone else. Every meal, every word, every interaction a performance. The Master of Ninjutsu, the art of invisibility in plain sight, could walk through a crowded street and be remembered by no one. Not because of magic. Because of the study of human psychology, people don't remember what doesn't threaten them, doesn't interest them, and doesn't stand out. The ninja weaponized ordinariness. Rank 7. Kogenosho. Commander of Shadows. You don't go on missions anymore. You send others. And that is the hardest thing you have ever had to do. Because some of them won't come back. And you are the one who made the decision to send them. At this rank, you are responsible for an entire region's intelligence network. You receive intelligence from dozens of sources. You must determine what is true, what is rumor, and what is deliberate misinformation planted by enemies. Historical records from Iga province describe a rank 7 operative who successfully predicted 3 political assassinations before they happened, purely through intelligence analyses. Rank 8. Kagemusha. The Shadow Architect. At this rank, you are no longer fighting battles. You are deciding which battles are worth fighting. The Kagemusha was the strategic mind behind the clan's political relationships. Which lords did the clan serve? Which information was shared, and what was withheld? The clan's survival depended on never being completely owned by any single lord. You were loyal to the clan. Always the clan. Specific lords were clients, not masters. Rank 9. Jonin no Kei. The Shadow Lord. You lead the entire clan. Dozens of operatives. A network of hundreds of informants. Decades of accumulated intelligence. You haven't personally gone on a mission in 15 years. But you remember every mission. Every loss. Every decision that changed the course of a war. The greatest Shadow Lords in history were never defeated militarily. They died in their beds of old age, surrounded by their clan. In a profession defined by violent death, dying peacefully was the ultimate achievement. Rank 10. Kurokami. The Legend. This rank does not exist in the formal hierarchy. It cannot be claimed. It can only be given by history. Figures like Fujibayashi Nagato, the head of the Iga clan who was said to have been simultaneously present in 3 different provinces on the same day. Or Mochizuki Chilomi, a woman who built the most effective intelligence network in 16th century Japan, using female operatives disguised as shrine maidens and traveling entertainers. These names survived because their impact survived. Wars that didn't happen. Lords who changed course. Battles that were won before they began. You don't become a legend by being the best ninja. You become a legend by being irreplaceable to history. From a child pulled out of bed in the dark, to a name whispered by shoguns. That is the life of a ninja. The ninja weren't supernatural. They weren't magic. They were the product of a system, the most sophisticated human intelligence operation the ancient world ever produced. And that system had ranks. 10 of them. Each one harder than the last. Next week on Shroudex Explain, your life at every rank of the Viking clan. Subscribe so you don't miss it.